So unfortunately, I cannot find my Nintendo DS, so I will not be including footage of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky in this video. I apologize in advance. Let's get into it. Pokemon has existed for nearly 3 decades now, and during that time, it's evolved in ways that are undeniable. Open worlds, massive creature counts, real-time elements, fully 3D environments. But somewhere along the way, many longtime fans started to ask a quiet but important question. Did Pokemon get better, or did it just get bigger? Today I want to weigh the pros and cons of modern Pokemon games, specifically games like Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Legends ZA, against some of the most emotionally resonant entries in the franchise's history. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team, Explorers of Darkness, and Explorers of Sky. Let's start off by being fair. Modern Pokemon does do some things exceptionally well. Number one, accessibility has never been better. Games like Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet are extremely approachable. You can access your Pokemon boxes anywhere, learn mechanics without trial and error punishment. You can experiment freely without fear of failure. This is Pokemon at its most welcoming, and that matters for new generations of players. Secondly, I also think the open world freedom is genuinely exciting. Legends Arceus was a massive leap forward. For the first time, Pokemon felt like wild animals, so to speak. Exploration replaced rigid routes. Catching Pokemon was integrated into the world itself. Scarlet and Violet expanded on this with full open world structure, letting players tackle gyms, titans, and Team Star in any order. That freedom, that's something older games simply couldn't do. Moving on here, the Legends games show real creative risk. Pokemon Legends ZA and Legends Arceus, they tested new identities for Pokemon, essentially. They're experimenting with lore-heavy storytelling, historical or futuristic settings, smaller, more focused narratives, and this tells us something important. It tells us that Pokemon can innovate when it wants to. Now here's where things get dicey. Number one, technical and visual inconsistencies. Let's be honest, Scarlet and Violet launched with frame rate issues, texture pop-in, visual glitches, and while gameplay mattered more than polish in older handheld games, modern Pokemon exists on hardware that demands higher standards. The ambition is there, but execution often lags behind, quite literally like the frame rate. Secondly, emotional depth has taken a backseat. Modern Pokemon stories are fine, but they're rarely haunting, they're rarely melancholic, they're rarely existential. Most conflicts resolve cleanly, most characters are safe, most themes avoid discomfort, and that's where the Mystery Dungeon games enter the conversation. If you played Blue Rescue Team or Explorers of Sky, you probably remember how they made you feel. Not just entertained, but affected. Number one, you weren't a trainer, you were the Pokemon. This one design choice changed everything. You weren't commanding Pokemon, you were one. You felt vulnerable, misunderstood, rejected by society. In Explorers of Sky, you are literally an outsider whose existence threatens the natural order of time. That's heavy. There are also themes in Mystery Dungeon games that are rarely tackled by modern Pokemon games today. Mystery Dungeon tackled identity, self-sacrifice, fate versus free will, the fear of being forgotten. The ending of Explorers of Sky, where your character disappears to preserve the timeline, is still one of the most emotionally devastating moments in a Pokemon game that I've seen, and in my opinion. And it didn't rely on spectacle, it relied on writing. Another differentiating factor between retro Pokemon games and modern Pokemon games is that in Mystery Dungeon, the retro Pokemon games' music and atmosphere did the heavy lifting. Tracks like Don't Ever Forget, Through the Sea of Time, Temporal Tower, these weren't just background music, they were emotional punctuation, so to speak. Modern Pokemon has great soundtracks, but few tracks are designed to hurt you on purpose. I can hear that tune of Temporal Tower playing in my mind now, and just the struggle of what it took for me to beat Dialga. He would repeatedly use Roar of Time, and it would make me so angry because I have to go all the way back to the beginning, and then go through those 10 stages, then go back to the upper floor, and then pass all of those, and then I'll finally get to the boss fight only to lose again. But interestingly enough, here's the real difference. It's depth versus scale. Modern Pokemon values scale. Bigger worlds, more Pokemon, more systems, more content. Mystery Dungeon value depth. Smaller scope, stronger narrative focus, emotional payoff, player vulnerability. Neither approach is wrong, but Pokemon's identity feels diluted when scale replaces soul. What made Mystery Dungeon special wasn't budget, it was intent. So what did Pokemon gain? Accessibility, freedom, innovation potential, and what did it lose? Emotional risk, narrative boldness, the willingness to sit in discomfort. The irony is this: Legends Arceus proves Pokemon hasn't forgotten how to take risks. The Mystery Dungeon games prove it once did so fearlessly. The future of Pokemon doesn't need to abandon open worlds, it just needs to remember this. A smaller story told with intention will always outlive a massive world with nothing to say. If Pokemon ever chooses to merge modern design with mystery dungeon level storytelling, that might be the greatest Pokemon game ever made. If you played the mystery dungeon games growing up, I'd love to know which one stuck with you the most and why. Thanks for watching. I'm Harlem, and I'll catch you in the next one.